morning. My name is Christina Felchlin, Support Manager at Ledgeview Partners. I'd like to welcome you to this month's Ledgeview CRM for Oil and Gas User Group webinar. Our highlighted topic for today is Activities and Activity Management. For our agenda, as previously mentioned, today's topic is Activities and Activity Management. We will give you some best practices and tips to manage your activities effectively. Michael is going to demo an activity management scenario. Then we're going to jump into a demo on territory management. Michael will give you a recap of the new enhancements we added to our June mini release and then answer your questions. I will close out the webinar with resources and upcoming webinars. Housekeeping. To ensure the best audio quality for all attendees, we have everyone in listen-only mode. If you have a question, please submit those in the question pane of your GoToWebinar control panel. I know we typically don't have much time for questions, but we'd still love to hear from you during today's presentation. If time does not permit, we promise to follow up offline. Lastly, today's webinar is being recorded and will be available on demand after the live session. All registered attendees will receive an email this afternoon with an access link to the recording, as well as the presentation slides. Now, without further ado, I'm pleased to welcome back Michael Dodds, Support Consultant with Ledgeview Partners.
Thank you, Christina, for that wonderful introduction. Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well and enjoying their summer so far. I unfortunately have a cold, so my summer isn't going so great, but let's get to the information before I croak. Our topic today is activities and activity management. We want to know, why are activities important? I know a lot of us know that our activities are important and that we need to put them in, but what's the real reason behind needing to do this? It helps streamline your organization with data management. Meaning you can take all the information that you have, emails, the tasks that you're working on, the phone calls you've made, and you can associate those to your opportunity, to your lead, to your contacts, to the accounts. And that way, when you have those meetings, you can coordinate those and the subsequent notes and associate those to the opportunities. That's why it's all in one place. That's where you get the streamline and efficiency. So instead of needing to search in multiple different locations, it's all in one area and it's all connected to what you're working on. Activity management. Utilizing CRM to manage your activities is a fantastic way to make your day more efficient. And a couple of ideas to do that are completing activities in a timely manner. Once you complete a phone call, it's really great to complete it right away. That way, you can enter the notes, it's associated, and the activity shows it's done, so your management team knows what you're working on. And managers, you're seeing this information and you're seeing it in a timely, on time to when they've actually completed it and did the phone call. Utilize the complete and follow-up command. This command is only available on the phone call activities, but it's a very great step. If you're talking with a customer on the phone and they want you to follow up with them in 2 weeks regarding potentially placing an order, doing that follow-up task and setting it due for that day is going to be a huge step for you. Then you don't have to remind yourself to follow up with them. And what we're going to show you later in a demo for activity management, you can go into CRM that day and see that that is due on your to-do list. Highly recommend creating new activities for your new opportunities, leads, new accounts, or follow up to keep in touch with your accounts. This is a great step because then you are keeping on top of your opportunities. You're always putting in that next activity. You're always ready to keep moving and driving that opportunity forward. And then in past sessions, we've talked about reports and dashboards. You can generate reports and dashboards that show activity completion stats. This is a great tool for sales managers to understand how their sales team is working and how they're completing their activities, but it's also great for you as a salesperson. You can see how well you're doing in terms of the activities that you're completing and how many you're achieving on a weekly basis. Best practices for activity management. I'm sure you've probably heard me say this many, many times, but setting activities to regard a record, so an opportunity, an account, a lead, a contact, is a huge step and a great best practice because it will connect that activity and the information from that activity to your opportunity or account or lead. Utilize the priority field. If you have an activity that's due, let's say on Friday, and you know it's of high priority, you want to make sure you concentrate on that first on that day, you can mark it as a high priority. In our demo later on, I'll show you how that we can sort by priority, so you're hitting on those high priority items right away. Use the correct activity type. If you're entering everything as a task, it's not really showing what you're doing in a day. If you utilize the phone calls, the tasks, the emails, the appointments, it's really going to be a reflection of what you're doing, and that way your manager can understand what you're doing in a day better, and management team, you can understand how your sales team as a whole is really out there doing their activities. Recurring appointments is a great feature for frequent meetings. So if you have a weekly status call or a weekly call with a customer, you can set that recurring appointment and you can track it in CRM. That way it's constantly showing that appointment in CRM. You don't have to recreate the wheel, recreate the appointment. And utilize Outlook Client to track emails and set those to regard your opportunity account contacts and leads. Next, we're going to jump into some tips to manage your activities effectively. There's a calendar feature right in CRM. There's also the Outlook client, the Outlook that has your calendar, and if you're syncing appointments, those will show as well. But the calendar within CRM, you can track your appointment and service activities. So that's a great tool to use. Utilizing views. Set views that matter to you, especially a daily to-do list. If you want to know what you have due that day, you can set that list once, and it's going to update each day. And it's going to show you your to-do list for your activities each day. It's a great time saver. Utilize charts. You can create various charts to track your performance, or as a sales manager, the performance of your sales team, based on how many activities are being created on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and then the completion of activities. Dashboards. Creating dashboards for activities. You can create charts to track activity performance like we talked about above, but you can also create a chart to show opportunities that have a completed activity, and you can compare that by creating a subsequent another chart showing all opportunities in that same time frame, and that will show you how activities is affecting your opportunities. If 90% of your opportunities are ones that have an activity, that's definitely a huge key indicator. Same thing with creating a chart for lost opportunities with a activity. If only 10% of your lost activities are those that have a completed activity, that can help drive home the point of needing activities and constant contact with your customers to get those opportunities as close as one. And then you also can create views and dashboards to organize daily activities. You can organize activities by the date, so do daily activities, do it by week. There's different filters that you can put on these. Next, we're going to jump into an activity management scenario right in CRMs. I'm throwing a lot of different information about recommendations for activities and activity management. But I want to show you how to create this information, specifically a daily to-do list based on priority. So what we're going to do is we're going to show all activities that are due today. We're going to sort this by priority, and the specific columns we want to make sure we hit on are the activity subject, the regarding field, the priority, and the activity type. So I'm going to move CRM over here, and we're going to go into our advanced find feature, which is up here in the top blue ribbon next to our name. And we're going to set our look for, once this loads, to activities. So look for, I'm going to go to activities, and we're going to go to due date. Please note that this list is only going to be effective if you are consistently putting in your due dates and accurate due dates. If there are no due dates or they're inaccurate, this list will not be as effective for you. So if we do due date as of today, and we set the activity status to open, because we're not going to be really worried about open and scheduled because our appointments are scheduled, so we want to notate those as well. anything that's canceled or completed aren't going to matter as much to us. So we're going to click OK, and we're going to set the owner to equal current user. That way you're seeing your activities. And then we're going to set our columns to be the subject field, which is usually what it's telling you that your activity is about. So once our columns load, so subject we need, regarding, which is over here on the right hand side. Regarding is what you're associating the activity to, so like an opportunity or an account. Priority field is right here, and then activity type. So what we're going to do, since all of our fields are in here, we're going to remove the unnecessary columns by just highlighting them and clicking remove. And then once we have this narrowed down to the ones we want, we're just going to set our order. So we are going to look at subject, regarding, priority, and activity type. And one key part of our demo is that we wanted to make this sorted by priority. So we're going to do configure sorting and sort by. We're going to change it from subject to priority, and we're going to do descending order. So it's going to go from highest to lowest. And then click OK. Click OK on our edit columns, and then we're just going to do a save as, and we're just going to label this priority to-do list. So then when we click results, we're going to see various different items that we have due today. For myself, in this demo environment, we don't have anything currently due. But this will help you in your priority and activity management. Next thing we're going to touch on is a demo of territory management. So I'm going to jump back into CRM and go over territory management. So from our main screen, we're going to go to our drop-down list, go to Workplace, and then Dashboards. Territory management is a dashboard. So in our dashboard drop-down, we're going to scroll down to Dashboard 98, Territory Management. Territory management is a fantastic tool. It's a really great way of mapping out your accounts, but it is also a good way if you're planning a trip to visit a client and you don't want to know different leads or other accounts that you can also stop by that are in the area. This is a fantastic tool to plan that. So we're going to start off with map accounts or leads within the radius of an account. So we're going to look at accounts and leads because we don't want to just lock ourselves down to accounts only or leads only, which you can do through this drop down here. And we're going to look at a radius of, say we're willing to go 50 miles in any direction to show we're willing to drive that distance. And then we're going to look up a specific account. So if I know I'm visiting Fairview Manufacturing, I'm going to type in Fairview. I'm going to uncheck this just to make sure I can find Fairview. So I'm going to click search. I find Fairview. I'm going to click OK. In your scenario, you're going to want to keep this box checked if you're only interested in visiting your accounts. For our demo purposes today, I'm going to uncheck this so we get more results. So what this is going to do is it's going to map all of the accounts and leads in CRM that are within 50 miles of Fairview Manufacturing. So what we do is we click on Show Map, and then it's going to map all of these items, all these different accounts and leads. And as you can see here at the top, right here when I click Show Controls, it's going to show my legend. So this is going to show, okay, I have a lot of accounts coded as customers, which are in green, and then I have one prospect here, which is Consolidated Messenger. So it looks like we've qualified that lead, but we haven't quite moved them over to a customer. So I might want to touch base with them. That might be a key one to hit on. And then right down here, if I wanted to make sure I schedule that appointment with Consolidated Messenger, I can just hover over them and click schedule an appointment. And then I can enter an appointment right from this section without needing to navigate to the activity section or navigate to that specific account and create a related activity. You can see all your different information right here. So these are all the different accounts. If you hover over them, it'll also give you the information. If you wanted to export this information into an Excel document, you would just click Open Export Wizard and Export List to Excel, which is another way you can dive deeper into your data. Now another one to do, there's another way that you can do this if you happen to be going to a specific location, maybe not to a specific account, but you're going to a specific section of the country and a specific address that you know you're going to be around. You just want to see if happen to be any accounts or leads nearby that if you have a free day, you can go visit. I know as salespeople that are on the road, you want to make advantage of any time you can get face-to-face meetings. So this is another way to do that. All you would simply do is type in the address of the location you're going to and show the map. Another great thing to do is to map accounts or leads from a specific view. So you can look at My Active Accounts or Active Accounts, or you can set a specific view for yourself. If you know you have customers that have an annual revenue over a certain amount, or if they've placed, you can group your accounts based on different filters. So if you want to create a high tier customer list that you would want to visit, you can create that list or in that view and then pull it right into here under My Views. And then once you pull that, you can click Show My Map, and it will show where all those high prospect accounts are, or high tier accounts are, and that will give you another way to really map out, and you can plan trips based off of that information, see which ones are close to each other. And the way you would do that is you would just simply select the view. So if we did active accounts, and then we click Show Map, then we would just wait for this to load. And when it is loading so many accounts, like in active accounts, it can take a little bit of time to load. And as you can see here, they're over a good portion of the country. So this is the actual action that's taking place in the background, where it's going to create and map all these different regions, different accounts. That's why it's moving all over the country here. But once it's complete, it's going to give you a full map of the country showing where each one is listed. Again, we're doing a large amount of them, so that's why it takes a good chunk of time. So as you can see here, we actually do have one over in Africa. We have a couple out in Hawaii, a few in Alaska, and most of ours are in the United States. Obviously, with your view, it's going to be much more narrowed down than this. But if you ever wanted to look at all your active accounts, this is a way to do it to see where they're all located. We had a release this month on June 13th, so I want to touch on some of the new items that came across during this release. A lot of what was done is moving reports to Dashboard 97. Some of the reports that we moved over are 100 and 100B. These are both very similar reports. One's an account ranking, the other one's an account ranking based on a 360 view, which is your parent and child accounts with a roll-up. Report 110, your account order history, is now in Dashboard 97. Report 200, the product 13 month analysis report, is also in there. And the one I really want to touch on is Report 170, the sales by owner and product segment. This is a fantastic one that was added to Dashboard 97. It's because you have a lot more choices for filtering data. Before, you were kind of locked down on different items that you can filter by. You have a lot more choices now. And also, you get to select how the data is grouped. The biggest benefit to Dashboard 97, besides these advanced filtering items, is for report 170 is that these are long-running reports, which means you can run the report, continue working in CRM, and you will get an email once the report is complete. Document 97 has been updated with this information to explain the new reports. We also added an owner filter to report 330. And in the active products view, we added the following columns. We added product category, product segment, quantity multiplier, and warehouse. What's nice about this addition is now that you can see the category, the segment, the quantity multiplier, and the warehouse right from your list instead of having to navigate into each one to see this information. So that'll be a huge time saver. The supplier logo has also been updated on quotes. It's now a lookup field. So before where it was a drop-down item, now you simply need to just type in the first part of the name, click enter, and you'll be able to pull in your supplier logo, or if you don't know the name of it, you can do a search to the supplier logo field. We also recently, Steve sent an email out to everyone talking about turning on auto delete and how far back you'd like to delete certain entities' records. That has been turned on, and this is going to run every month, and it's starting in July. The qualify button on leads, it used to be where there was a qualify button and you were able to hit it before you saved an item and it would cause an error. Now this is grayed out, so you cannot qualify a lead until you've actually saved the lead. That's our activity management, and territory management section of our webinar today. Next, I'm going to jump into some user questions. Our first question, is there a report, view, or advanced find to compare customer sales for certain periods that have been touched by an activity by owner? That's a fantastic question. And I'm actually going to go in and show you how to do this workaround. One of the big ways to do this is it's not accomplished where you can see everything right in CRM, but there is a workaround that would work for this. Any other option to do it all right in CRM would be an enhancement, and we would be happy to consider that. Just send us the information that you'd like to do it, and we can get you in touch with Steve. For the workaround, we would create a view that shows the order history, or in our scenario, we'll just say the last 3 months, for all accounts that have completed activities with an actual end date in the last 3 months. So basically what this is saying is the order history is the last 3 months, and those order histories have an account with a completed activity that ended during the actual same 3-month time frame. We want to make sure we add the total revenue column to the view, export it to Excel, then duplicate that same advanced find view for a different 3-month time period. So different 3-month time period for the order history, and that same different 3-month time period for the actual end date of the activity. Export both of those to Excel, and then you can compare and contrast that information. So I'm going to jump into CRM and show you how that can be done. So if we go into our advanced find again, we set this to order history since that's the main information that we're looking for. I'm going to show you this advanced find. So you set the order date to last X months 3. Then from here, you would scroll down to your related section and click on account. And then underneath account, you would scroll down again to the related section and click on activities. So activities, and then in parentheses regarding. And then under activities regarding, you'd set the actual end, so the actual end of the activity, to be in the last 3 months, and the activity status to be completed. So then once you run this, click results, and you can export this information right out into Excel for your first step. Then you would just go back in and we can change this to specific dates. So we do on or after. We can do on or after 1/1/16. and then set our order date to be on or before 3 months ago would have been 3, so we'll do 3/28/16. We'll actually want to do 3/1, so it's similar data. So we'll do 3/1/16. And then do the same thing in actual end. We'll set this to be on or after 1/1/16. And then set an actual end to be on or before 3/1/16. And this would be your secondary view, and then you would click results. And then you would export and compare and contrast that information. And I included a screenshot of that first advanced find here for future reference. Our next question is, how do I print out all my accounts in an Excel format? That's a great question, and I'm actually going to walk you through right in CRM how to do this. But there is some information in the print and the slideshow here of how to do that. So I'm going to just close out Advanced Find. So if we go back into CRM, go to our main navigation, go to Sales, Accounts, and then we wait for this to load, and we'll want to change our view to be My Active Accounts. So My Active Accounts, and then you're simply going to click Export to Excel. Click the Open button, and this will open up Excel, and there's your list, and then you can simply print it right from CRM. Just do Enable Printing, and you can print it right from Excel. Our last question is, how do I change CRM only accounts to an account number, and what are the things to watch out for? It's a fantastic question, and I want to start this with a very important note. In order to change account number information, you must have the field security access to edit account numbers. If you don't, please contact your sales manager for approval, and then have them, or you could notify us at crmsupport@ledgeviewpartners.com that your manager has given approval, list their name, copy them on the email to add you to this list, to this field security access, and we will make that update for you. Now, in order to make these changes, once a CRM only account has been added to your back office ERP system, it will be given an account number. You want to take the following steps. Navigate to the CRM only account. Within the account numbers section, change that account number to match what is in the back office ERP system. Click Save. That is your link between your back office ERP system and CRM. That way, when the nightly data load occurs, it will make the necessary updates. There are no other steps that need to be taken in order to have an account number match up with your ERP system.
All right. As always, Michael, thank you for the great content. Reminder that we have all of the previous user group webinars in our on-demand library. To review these webinars, visit the link in the email you received this afternoon, and it'll take you to your user group library. There you can find all of the webinars from Advanced Finds, Sales Processes, Dashboards, Reports, and the Outlook client. Another great resource is your LedgeView support team. If you run into an error, have a question or issue, feel free to reach out to the support team at crmsupport@ledgeviewpartners.com or 920-560-6888. And as a reminder, with the holiday weekend coming up, we want to remind all of you that our offices will be closed on Monday, July 4th for the Independence Day holiday. Our next CRM user group meeting will be Thursday, July 21st. We know one of the hardest hurdles organizations face with CRM is user adoption. We'll give some tips and tricks to help you and your colleagues with the CRM adoption. On July 21st, right before our user group webinar, we have a webinar called Automating Field Service through Work Orders and Mobile. In this webinar and live demo, see how to transform your field service and experience a closed loop work order life cycle, including work order automation, scheduling and dispatching, real-time mobile communications to the field technician, proper oversight and communications with field service employees to keep your operations costs in check while you grow your business organically, and central control and people management for the competitive advantage you need to survive where services are quickly becoming commoditized. On Wednesday, July 27th, we'll present a webinar on the ABCs of Microsoft Dynamics CRM, learn how to acquire leads, build relationships, and close deals. We will show you how marketing, sales, and service work together by utilizing Microsoft Dynamics CRM to create a customer journey that will maximize efficiency, productivity, and profitability. Then on Thursday, July 28th, join us for 5 strategies to better segment your current lead database. There isn't a one-size-fits-all customer. Customers of today expect personalized experiences because they have different problems and needs, and they are looking for you to offer solutions to their issues. In order to offer this type of experience, you need to first segment your potential customers into groups or lists so that you can tailor your messaging. This webinar will focus on ways to segment your lead database, including segmentation by sales stage, buyer persona, behavioral attributes, and lead score. In addition to these fabulous webinars, we are working on setting a date for user training and sales manager training, so stay tuned for those upcoming webinar invites. As always, all webinars are recorded and available on demand. If you register after the live webinar date, you will have immediate access to the on-demand recording. To register for these webinars, visit ledgeviewpartners.com, click on the News and Events link, and scroll to the upcoming webinar section. On behalf of Michael and I and all of us at LedgeView Partners, we'd like to thank you for spending time with us today. Have a great rest of your day.